Okay. Can I start this thing?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael's going to start.
Michael's going to start.
Is this your first Phil Mickelson U.S. Open?
It's my first
day
press
at the
conference
US Open.
ever.
That's all I need.
Ever. I love it.
Take it away.
All right, Alan, we've been down this road before, but our distinguished colleague Ryan French has not. Ryan, just so your first Phil Mickelson press conference, indeed your first press conference anywhere, give us your takeaway.
I just tweeted it, Michael. It makes me so happy that I cover the players I cover because they have no one to answer to, right? Like all those answers are measured and rehearsed and cliche, and I understand it, especially the situation, but I talk to players all the time, every day of my working life that don't give a shit and don't have anyone to answer to, and it just really drives home the appreciation I have for the stuff I do.
That's interesting. I'll give you my 5-second response to that. We'll turn it over to Alan. I thought he killed it. Alan?
I respect your remarks. I respect your opinions. I respect Phil. That was the word he used over and over, was respect. And I think Phil's felt a lack of that. There's been an absence of respect. And so
I think I see Aretha Franklin coming in now.
I thought he was, I actually felt sorry for Phil. I mean, that my overriding emotion would be empathy. The tough scenario, it's a tough room, it's hot and crowded, all this buildup. I think he handled himself well. There was a lot of non-answers, but he said some meaningful things, and you could feel some contrition, you could feel some regret, you could feel some remorse, you could also some defiance. Like it was all there, lurking beneath the surface. But I thought he did as well as could be expected.
It was a little bit like at the PGA where he had those long waits. He'd flutter and do the whole thing before he played the shot.
At Ocean Course,
he had the same thing at the Ocean Course. Yeah, he had the same thing here. Where it's like, okay, I've got the red ass, bury the red ass, just like my trainer told me to do, or my therapist. Breathe and answer.
Yeah,
and he was good at it.
Yeah, no, he was like, he controlled the tempo. Like he was almost like a pitcher. Like he's walking around the mound, he's going to the bag. Like he kind of controlled the whole thing. People were trying to throw gotcha questions at him. There was times he didn't actually answer the question, but that's his prerogative. He has control of the mic and he can do what he wants. So it was a little evasive, but not to the point it was obnoxious. And I think he just said what he wanted to say and no more.
Do you think maybe he's hanging out with Tiger and getting his media training from Tiger?
He's been studying he's been studying, not old footage of Ben Hogan, but old Tiger press conferences.
Honest to God, I had the feeling of watching him up there. I know you said you sort of felt sorry for him. I felt myself liking Phil again. He's a screwed up, complicated person, but he's brought a lot of joy to a lot of people over a lot of years. And there he was in the flesh. We haven't seen him. I haven't seen him in the flesh since the PGA Championship. And it was just like, this guy's been through a lot. A lot of it is of his own doing, but that's sort of human nature too. And I wish him well. I don't wish this LIV series particularly well, but I don't know. It's so messed up and complicated.
I agree. I mean, I would like nothing more for Phil to come back as a better player and a better person. And when you're talking about, he has like star quality, right? He walks in and the energy changes. Yeah. Any given day, but especially today. So, I mean, what was your takeaway from just being in Phil's presence for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to Michael's point is, I think I liked Tiger more after his problems because he was more human. Yeah. And I kind of same thing. Like I really didn't have many feelings either way at Phil, but I was like, oh man, I kind of feel sorry for him and I kind of like him. Like if he just said hey man, I screwed up, and I know he can't come in there and just pour his guts out, but I kind of felt the same thing you guys felt. Like, man, he's flawed, and it's part of the reason we love him. And I think the anger and stuff towards him was because they didn't know he was flawed, and you guys have had such an inside look prior to this that you knew he was flawed. This is the Phil you knew leading up to this.
I don't think it really changes anything. In other words, there were the Phil people and the non-Phil people. Yeah. There were very few people on the fence, and I don't think people are going to start booing him here. There are a lot of people who love Phil.
Oh yeah,
and really the most serious question, Doug Ferguson from the AP's question, why are you doing this? The money. He said it. He used a lot of words, but that's what he said.
I give him credit for that, and I salute him for facing the music. Like, he didn't have to do this press conference. That would have been really awkward, but he could have gone this whole week and dodged reporters. First press conference of the week. You got to give him credit for that. But I do disagree with what you said, Ryan. He could pour his heart out. Like, he doesn't have to be corporate.
True.
He could.
Yes.
That is an option that's available to him, but there's reasons not to do so. But all in all, I think for Phil, it's got to be a monumental relief. He passed the test. Now he can focus on the golf, and we'll see how much he has. I mean,
what if he wins?
well, the Earth will stop
If he
spinning.
makes the cut.
Yeah,
If he makes
that-
the
that's a
cut.
good start.
Why, Michael? We were all saying this at the PGA Championship last year.
Well, I mean, the fact is, these are the smallest championship greens in the world, along with Pebble Beach. Everyone's going to miss a green. It's going to be a chipping contest.
Yes.
That obviously favors him. So,
I mean, do I think it's likely? I'm with you. He's obviously going to shoot 80-80 and leave. But I mean, we were all saying this at the PGA Championship a year and a half ago.
it's true. But he got off to a great start. I mean, Thursday's a key day. All the build-up, the fan reaction, the residual rustiness. He's got to survive the first round. If he can do anything even close to par, you never know. But I'd say the over-under is about 77.
Can I do a quick roundtable with you too? Because this maybe is too much my thing, but I am very interested in. You know, I think Phil has liberal leanings. I think his wife does. I would say I know his wife does. From the little I know of his kids, I think they do. I think he's a sentient person. I think he's a politically astute person. We talk about MBS, but you have two of these live events going to Trump courses. You're sort of normalizing Trump. This is a person who many would say was the single greatest threat to American democracy in our lifetime by a huge factor, or certainly by an American. Do you think we heard what he answered, he didn't answer. Do you think he's conflicted at all about these live events being played on Trump courses?
Yeah. I know for a fact that Phil voted for Obama at least once. Right. So, to your point, and he is very liberal on social issues. I think that I think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance for Phil and all these guys. Like he has to spout the party line. He doesn't make the schedule. That's true, and it's analogous to like when Formula One goes to Saudi Arabia. Well, Lewis Hamilton, he doesn't make the schedule. He just has to drive wherever the race is. So it kind of gives him an out. Like, hey, I signed up with these guys. They control the schedule. I'm sure he would prefer that it was not there. But at this point, what's he going to do? I mean, Trump, like it or not, is a force in the game, just like the Saudis are now. So once you sign with them, you're committed.
Right. I think we would agree that the Saudis are trying to use golf to normalize how the world views them. And I think Trump is trying to use golf the same way.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, I think any human, it's impossible to not be, any human or any player that went to live, no matter what they say on the stage, has to be conflicted. It's impossible to not. Mark and I have had this conversation a million times. It's like, what if he got the call to come in, right? And he's like, I would lose sleep either way, that I've turned down a life-changing opportunity or that I'm going to normalize this. So I think, to normalize the Saudis, to normalize Trump, all falls under this category of there's no way that all 48 or 60 or whatever players is going to fall in this group don't feel some sort of confliction.
Yeah. I wonder what percentage of Americans playing LIV voted for Trump. It's probably pretty high. So I'm not sure how much angst there really is, Michael.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
All right, well, this is Alan Shipnuck, Michael Bamberger, Ryan French. We were here at the Country Club. We just watched Phil Mickelson's press conference. This was an instant reaction, and we're done.